It's time to take a ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive with our co-hosts, Alan Saunders and Zachary Smith.
Get in the van. We're going for our Steelers Afternoon Drive. I'm Zachary Smith. That is Alan Saunders, and it's a Friday. There's three screens. If you're watching on YouTube, there's three screens for you right now, which means Steelers DB, our boy Derrick Bell, joining the show. How we doing, pal?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Halloween? Are you guys big Halloween fans?
I will say I enjoy it a bit more watching the nieces and nephew dress up. That's always fun. And this will be the first time that I'm passing out candy at my own house. So I guess maybe a little bit cooler for me this year. And I mean, for me, not really necessarily. I don't really care about it. But like that aspect of it is cool.
I was never like a big like Halloween guy. I do enjoy kind of the season, but like I'm not into sweets. So like trick-or-treating specifically never had like a lot of that wasn't like getting me going when I was a kid.
Okay. Real quick though. You said you're not into sweets. If you had to pick a Halloween candy though, what's at the top of the list?
I don't know, like a Snickers probably.
Okay. DB's just gonna say like grilled chicken or something that's not even
salty sweet. You know.
No, I mean I'm with you guys. I'm not a huge Halloween fan, but my daughter loves Halloween. So like
okay, what if you gotta pick a top Halloween candy though?
The candy, I don't know if it's Halloween specific, but I like Sour Patch Kids or something like that.
Okay, that works. That works. Yeah. All right. I'm a big Take 5 fan.
Those are good, but I don't think anybody gives them out on Halloween.
No,
like that's not.
No, but I ordered them for myself.
I was thinking about that too. Similar concept to Snickers. It's got peanut butter in there instead of.
We're not wearing any costumes on here. I debated dressing.
I got an orange shirt. I'm as festive as I get right here.
Okay. I was gonna dress up as a clown, but I figured we might see enough of it from the Steelers defense on Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts. So I didn't want to, jump the gun and take away from what they're going to be putting on display on Sunday. That's what we're here to do, is preview and predict this game against the Indianapolis Colts. But Alan, I think first we got to dive in and see what you can tell us about the injury report, which is a pretty lengthy one. Didn't necessarily know what it was going to look like going into the week, but man, did that thing get lengthy by the end of it. What can you tell us?
Two guys put on IR today. Daniel Ekuale, who's out for the year with an ACL. Deshaun Elliott has a hyperextended knee. He is out for at least 4 weeks, probably more than that. Seems like it's questionable as to whether he will be back at all. And then you've got on the regular injury report, Jabril Peppers has been ruled out with a quad injury. Scotty Miller ruled out for the second straight week with that finger. And then you've got Corey Trice, who injured his knee, is out this week. And I'll be honest, I think probably out for the season. He has opened that 21-day window, which means he would have to recover from that knee injury within that time frame to be back this year. And I don't think that's very likely. Expecting him to not get activated and to miss the rest of the season. 4 guys questionable, 2 with illnesses. That's Cole Holcomb and Chuck Clark, and 2 more who are on the IR expect to be activated. Malik Harrison and Will Howard. They cleared those 2 roster spots with Ekuale and Elliott. And then in are Ben Skowronek, Pat Freiermuth, Isaac Seumalo, and Zach Frazier. Yeah, lengthy, but some good news on offense there. And I'm not sure who's playing safety. It seems like no one, maybe.
That should have dressed up as a safety.
They did play 10 men, 1 snap against Green Bay. Maybe they're just getting ready for this. Is that they're just going to not. I mean, listen, they could just say, hey, Jonathan Taylor's tough, man. We're just going to play extra defensive lineman, no safety. You guys back there haven't really been figuring it out anyway. At least we'll stop the run. I don't know. No Elliott.
They brought in Jalen Ramsey.
They do have Duggar. He practiced twice. 2 practices for Duggar. Questionable Clark. Juan Thornhill is available. And I would assume that you'll see a lot of Jalen Ramsey at safety. And then they have Jack Henderson, who's been on the practice squad for a couple weeks. And then just sort of newly added is Derek Forrest, he was starter for the Washington Commanders, is also on the practice squad. I think he's probably a good candidate to get elevated, but not great in terms of
This all sounds awesome. Yeah.
Secondary
I
situation.
mean, the good news is it's, the Indianapolis Colts coming to town for this one. That's
At least it's not like the NFL's best offense,
right. Yeah. I did want to make the joke you said about playing with 10 guys. Jalen Ramsey can play multiple positions. Ideally, it's not at the exact same time. Doesn't count as two guys.
Yeah, he is the slot and the safety. There you go. That fixes it all.
But okay, so Cole Holcomb was sick and has missed 2 days. Now Chuck Clark's sick today. What in the world's going? Somebody's gonna pop up tomorrow with an illness. There's obviously something going on.
Yeah, it's got to be something going around. I haven't noticed. Usually when that happens, you see the signs and symptoms of it going around. I haven't really seen anything, so I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah,
that was the Baltimore playoff game last year. Half the team had the flu. I think that was really bad.
Mm-hmm. A little bit surprised about Seumalo being good to go for this one. I will say that the trickle down effect of that, the domino effect, if you will, is that it leaves the jumbo package on the table, being like, not having to move pieces around. We talked about like, okay, if they want to do that, Art's not going to move away from it that quick. Do we see, Andrus Peat or Ryan McCollum have to fill a role there if they still want to do the jumbo stuff? Now leave it untouched. You can still have Spencer Anderson as that extra guy.
The Anderson thing has been really fun. It's been interesting to see them get to some different stuff out of it. And it's been honestly like the best thing that they've done offensively. I mean, with Anderson on the field, or with 6 offensive linemen on the field this season, but most of that was with him. They're averaging almost 7 yards a carry. So it's been wildly effective. That's been a trend, like a league-wide trend, that everybody's just getting heavy. I think the idea, I think last season was that, if you wanted to play with an extra body on the field, you could just use a tight end. And then it seems like everybody overnight in the NFL said, like, we don't have very many good blocking tight ends. Why wouldn't we just put an extra lineman on the field instead? Because we're going to run the ball and see if teams can stop it. And NFL defenses are not doing a very good job stopping it this year. So, it looks like it's something, here to stay, at least until defenses start to figure out a way to adjust.
Yeah,
I think Spence specifically has been playing well individually too. Like it's one thing to say you want the lineman. The guy's got to play. Like not everybody's 6th offensive lineman is somebody they want to have out there. I think he's playing really well.
Yeah, he's I think the athleticism is a real thing. The Colts have been pretty good at stopping. They've only seen about like 10 snaps of it, so they haven't seen nearly as much of it as the Steelers will probably try to throw out there on Sunday, I would imagine. But yeah, it's a good shot. I mean, I've been impressed with just like the athleticism. A lot of the stuff that they're doing with getting him and Washington in the game on the same time is, trying to get to the perimeter. So,
all right, well, let's stick with that then. Steelers offense going against this Colts defense. Alan, you had said yesterday, but obviously didn't expand upon it much. That's what today is for, that you feel like this Colts defense is attackable. Now they've only given up less than 20 points per game, 19.3, which is 6th in the NFL, but you can attribute that obviously to as much time as their offense is spending on the field and other things like that. What makes you feel that way, to expand upon the thought that you threw out there that this defense is attackable?
I don't think they have edge people that terrify you, that you really need to give like a ton of extra attention to. I don't think their linebackers are not great in coverage. They're older guys, probably not as good as they once were. I mean, I think their secondary is not very good. And so I think this is a game where you could see Aaron Rodgers get some time to throw. And I think the Steelers, like what happened last week was when the Steelers got one-dimensional, the receivers weren't getting open fast enough, and Rodgers was getting some happy feet, and sort of rightfully so, and the pocket was collapsing. And I think we've seen when he gets a little bit of time, there's still some of that off-script magic in there that he was so famous for early in his career. But it needs to be protected up better. And I think this is the pressure comes from the middle with these guys. Buckner and Stewart are good up the middle, but like that sort of classic, like engulf you edge pressure is not really there at the same level. And so I think the Steelers receivers can get open against the secondary. I think they can throw the ball. And this is a team that's hard to run against, but they've run against everybody. So I'm just going to assume the Steelers are going to be okay running the ball. And I think this offense can, quote unquote, win this matchup. Now, what does that look like in terms of the final score? I don't know, but I think the Steelers offense can get the better of the day when they're on the field.
I think a big piece of this puzzle, and he's a good player in general, but has certainly popped when they played against the Steelers, is Grover Stewart. He's questionable to play, but was able to get in a practice on Friday. Shane Steichen kind of being coy about that, said we'll see how the next 48 hours go, but he's a massive piece of that puzzle, certainly, if he's able to go up front. And that'd be a fun battle to watch in the interior, along with DeForest Buckner going against the Steelers' interior offensive line. DB, what is your thought about what Allen had to say, and maybe some thoughts of your own with this offense going against the Colts defense?
Yeah, the Colts do it kind of by committee. It's a lot of kind of unique pressure pass stuff. They don't blitz a ton. Latu's like had a pretty good season. I feel like really crafty rusher, but probably somebody that you would hope that you can leave him alone a little bit one-on-one from time to time. Buckner's having a really good season as a pass rusher, I think. Is still playing at a really high level. Allen's right, though. The linebackers are a mess in coverage, to be honest with you, and misdirection. I feel like, in particular, you can get their eyes going every which way. I think that Pratt has stabilized some of the run defense stuff a little bit just because, he knows where to be and knows the system, and you can put him in some different places that Lou is comfortable with, whereas, the backup that they had in there before just was completely lost. But there's not a lot of talent at the cornerback spot. Where they are really good, and they probably have one of the better safety tandems in the league right now, just in terms of what those guys are doing in terms of cleaning up other stuff. Bynum's playing really well, and that's kind of Lou's whole defense. When his defense works, it's because they've got good safety play. If you think back to when he had Jesse Bates, Von Bell before he got old, Cam Bynum is a really, really good player, can do a little bit of everything, and then Nick Cross is having a really good year. I like Cross a lot coming out of Maryland, just as a high upside kid, but really good athlete. He can bang a little bit in the box. They use him some different ways. So I think the number one thing for the Steelers is you just have to go into this matchup that you're just going to have to make sure that you score points every single time you get the ball. The Colts are averaging 3.5 yards. They're averaging almost 3.5 yards or 3.5 points per drive. So the whole adage we talk about, we saw it play out last week against the Packers. And I know Tomlin's received a lot of criticism about some of the press conference answers, but he was right when he was talking about they didn't finish drives and it left the door open for Green Bay to kind of come back and take that game pretty convincingly. You can't settle for field goals. So Tomlin's going to have to be more aggressive than he's been on fourth down. So they're going to have to score some touchdowns because you're not going to – this Colts offense, the way it's humming, you're not going to hold them under 30 points, I don't think, on Sunday. You're going to have to score.
Oh, we'll get to obviously with the predictions where we think the Colts are going to be at. Plethora of weapons. DB, when you look at the passing attack, is there one guy that you kind of look at?
Nope, and that's what makes them, I feel like, really difficult to defend. Because it's a lot of 11 personnel. They're using Tyler Warren in creative ways. He's kind of added an element that they didn't previously have. All the receivers are good players. They don't necessarily have a true number one. Downs has given a lot of people issues. They like to, put him in the playmaker spot whenever, they go empty. And that's something they've had success with against the Steelers specifically. Alec Pierce has taken a monstrous jump. I was actually going to tweet out a video that I clipped earlier today when I was going through some games, but I think he's the most improved player, definitely the most improved receiver that I've watched on film this entire season. It is his route running now. He went from being a pure vertical guy that I'm just the only thing he could do is really stretch the field. And now he made L'Jarius Sneed fall last week in the first quarter of that game. So I was just oh my God, he's really, really coming into his own. He's going to get a pretty bag this offseason because he's a free agent. So, yeah, they got a lot of weapons, and Jones is playing with more conviction and more confidence than I've ever seen him play, which, just shows how comfortable he is in the offense.
And I know that we talked briefly about, obviously, the offense, specifically Tyler Warren. But, yeah, you think about, Pittman, Downs. DB just mentioned Pierce, our boy A.D. Mitchell, not necessarily part of that group that we've talked about. What comes to, and we haven't even talked about Jonathan Taylor. We talked a little bit about the Colts offensive line and they didn't really have to spend a bunch of premium picks to rebuild that thing. But what jumps off the page to you about this Colts offense and why it's humming?
Yeah, they run the ball well. They get into good down and distance situations. They're very efficient. They run a number of different looks and packages, and it's really like a lot of 11, but they dress it up nicely, I guess is what I should say, where you'll have empty, you'll have Tyler Warren moving outside, inside, backfield, all over the place, and it becomes difficult. The Steelers have had a lot of trouble with motion the last couple of weeks. That'll be something you'll see a lot of, I would expect. And they've had, also the Steelers have had problems with almost everything the last couple of weeks. So really, that's a long list beyond motion, but this is an offense that's really going to stress you out because you're going to want to have extra guys in the box to try to deal with Jonathan Taylor. And then they're going to find ways to take advantage of your outnumbered defenders on the outside and down the field. I don't see how they possibly survive this matchup intact. It looks like a bloodbath on paper.
That's encouraging. DB,
go ahead. No, you're good. Go ahead.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on the offensive line play in general. I think that's the one thing that has really stood out to me this year specifically with this Colts offense, and why, yes, Shane Steichen has had the Steelers number in 3 straight years, but now it's being broadened to literally looking like they have everybody's number league-wide, and I think that's an under-talked about point, is the play of the offensive line in front of Daniel Jones and Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you look at pretty much any metric. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's obviously been fantastic. I think I said last year when we previewed this Steelers-Colts game that I thought that he looked all the way back. He was banged up a little bit a couple years ago. He looked all the way back, and when Taylor is at his best, you can make an argument that he's as good of a pure runner than that we have in the league. And then I think you've seen some of the guys on the offensive line take massive steps forward. In particular, Tanner Bortolini, their center. Zach Frazier and Graham Barton haven't taken the step that I kind of thought they were going to take maybe this year. Not that they've been bad. They've been good. It's just Bortolini's been the guy that's actually taken a massive jump as far as young centers in the league. The way that he's getting out into space is really help create some of those explosives. The Colts, number 1 explosive play team in the entire NFL. That's been a thing that's given the Steelers issues. Or number 2 team, excuse me. And then the Steelers are 31st in explosive play rate allowed. And then some of the other things that Alan talked about with the motion thing. Indy's middle of the pack in motion usage, but they're number 1 in EPA per play off motion. So it's very calculated in terms of the way they dress things up and, getting especially second level defenders, getting their eyes crossed a little bit. And then Taylor, it's kind of a perfect marriage, kind of similar to what we saw with the Eagles offensive line last year, which is when you get Quentin Nelson and that offensive line playing the way that they are, and then you can get Taylor up to the second and third level. Safety's trying to tackle him in the alley is a nightmare because he's one of those guys that has rare burst. So got to make sure you're getting as many hats to the ball. I know Cam Hayward talked about that this week, which is a good shout. But the safeties in particular, we talked about that at the open, with the injury report. That's going to be something I'm definitely going to be watching for because you're going to have a guy in Jalen Ramsey who hasn't played back there a ton. Not that I don't trust Ramsey as a tackler. He's actually been really good this year in that regard. But the angles that you're taking from the center field is different than the angles you would be taking on the boundary. The fit's different. So, and this is a dude that if you're a step late or you take a bad angle, it's not going to be a first down or an explosive. It's going to be a touchdown. So we saw that last week against the Titans. So, yeah. Tough matchup.
Yeah. There's something I actually wanted to, after we get to our predictions and stuff like that. Typically that's the end, but I actually have, I think what I want to put on the table is a question. Depending on how we all pick, I have a pretty good idea of the way that we're going to go. So it's doing something different there. But anything before, I guess, I don't know. I think we set it up on the table pretty well there. Is there anything from either side of the ball that we haven't discussed yet that is on either of your minds? Okay, let me ask you one thing about this Colts offense. What is so different about Daniel Jones and the way that he's playing this year? Why is he finding so much success within the system?
Bro, I wish I knew. You would love to look at the tape. Like sometimes, like when teams get off to like hot starts like this, you can look at some of the numbers can be a little fluky. You can see like, okay, like it's getting propped up by this. Maybe the explosive play rate's unsustainable. You're having some busted coverages. Maybe a quarterback that's feasting off play action. Like they've been good versus play action, but like even if you filter out some of the like just pure dropback stuff, like he's just playing out of his freaking mind. And I think the other thing is like he's had more success throwing the ball down the field this year. He's throwing with anticipation. I've never seen him play like this. Even you go back to that year that he had with Daboll and the Giants where they ended up making the playoffs. This is not that. Like
right.
The film looks completely different. So I wish I knew. I mean, it kind of is a good reflection. I actually thought that I saw someone tweet this out on my timeline, but I wanted to make sure I give them credit. I think the Athletic Football Show was talking about the difference in two organizations maybe that felt like they were a quarterback away, and the Colts have been kind of stockpiling young pieces on the offensive side of the ball, maybe that aren't superstars, but they just accumulated a lot of like good players that fit their system, and now they've got a quarterback that can actually operate Steichen's system. And Steichen's just, I mean, he's done this with multiple different quarterbacks now. He wasn't able to do it with Richardson, which I thought coming into the season might cost him his job, but they've rebounded quite nicely. And honestly,
what an indictment on Anthony Richardson, by the way, though.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I think there's a good argument to be made that Anthony Richardson is the worst quarterback in the NFL, like in the last 20 years.
I mean,
I mean, I don't know that we've seen enough of him to say for sure, but yeah, I mean, the results, the numbers haven't been good.
And the numbers are certainly that bad,
especially now that Jones is playing at this level. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying.
It's a guy who's not like just a replacement level player for 7 years or 6 years or whatever comes in and just lights it up. Like, gosh,
yeah, for sure,
absolutely.
No wonder Tomlin didn't want Flacco in the game last
year. 100%. And Anthony Richardson is hurt right now anyways. So even if they were to be able to get Daniel Jones out of there, it's Riley Leonard, I believe, Notre Dame quarterback.
That I would sign up for. The defense is full go on trying to knock Daniel Jones out of this game for sure.
Oh boy, I was playing Madden, and boy were we teeing off. We took Daniel Jones out of that one. Got Riley Leonard in there, and that dude was afraid to throw the ball. Won like 40-17. So if that's any indication for the way Sunday's going to go,
you would understand why he's afraid to throw the ball.
So that actually might be my largest margin of victory on all Madden. So I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
All right.
Hopefully that's an indication
on the 6th this Sunday.
On Sunday. All right, let's get into some predictions now. You guys know the drill: offense, defense, and then of course we will give a final score as well. We always go around. I started last week with offense. DB told me already before we started that he's just going to give his on the fly and has no clue where he's going or if they will even be related to the Steelers. All right, good to know. If that's the case, we'll start with Allen. Offense.
Which offense? Steelers offense?
Yes. Well, I mean, no, I guess not. Yours could be related to the Colts, I guess.
Okay. Well, I usually try to do it this way. So I'll do Steelers offense or Colts defense against the Steelers offense. I think we can see another big game from Aaron Rodgers, and I think this will be the week that it's the wide receivers, not the tight ends dominating the conversation. I'm going to pick a 100-yard game for DK Metcalf.
Okay. 2 different times I was worried you were taking mine there because you said another, and then I was like, oh no, this guy scored a touchdown last week. And then you said wide receivers. I thought you were saying not DK Metcalf and then go somewhere else. I'm going with back-to-back weeks, a touchdown for Roman Wilson.
That's very bold. That's more bold than 100 yards for DK Metcalf.
I would agree. I think we've talked a lot about that secondary. I think that they're going to see him as the guy to pay just a bunch of attention to. So I didn't want it's not bold enough if I say Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson, in my opinion, but one of those is going to score. Flip a coin, give me Roman Wilson, second straight week. DB.
Okay. So this is gonna be kind of obscure, but I think if the Steelers
it.
are gonna win, this is kind of their path to winning. Um, I'm gonna say that their season high so far is 5 rushes, explosive runs, so runs over like 10 yards per pop. That's their season
Okay.
high this year. They had a really nice streak that they kind of started in London where they had 4, and they kind of kept that streak rolling for a couple weeks after that. I'm going to say that they set a season high in explosive runs, and it keeps them in the game in the first quarter.
Okay.
Especially,
you,
I would also say like how they're
Stop.
going to get the runs. I'll say they're going to get the runs to the perimeter. That's that's probably the area that I think that the Steelers are probably going to try to attack the most. And Jalen Warren's your best player, so please get in the ball. Thank you. Like I don't know why we need to continue to say that every week, but play calling kind of just got a little bit out the wazoo in the second half last week and got away from that for whatever reason. So let's not do that. If the game is still close at that point, let's not do that.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
one thing that I don't think is a bold enough prediction to make as a bold prediction, but we probably need to talk about. Pat Freiermuth lined up against Jermaine Pratt in Lou Anarumo's defense has been a very profitable matchup for him in the Pittsburgh Steelers over the years. I could see him doing well again this week.
Yeah. Yeah. We've obviously spent so much time talking about Pat's history against Cincinnati. Well, who was the DC for most of those matchups? Excluding, obviously, the one that just took place a couple weeks ago. Lou Anarumo, now the DC in Indy. And he also has the linebacker there that was matched up with him quite a bit as well. So I like that shout for sure. But yeah, well, just keep that up here. That's not a bold prediction. All right, let's talk about defensively. I'll go first then here. Going back and looking at his numbers throughout his career, this is the only season where Jonathan Taylor has not fumbled in the first 7 games of a season. He has not lost a fumble yet this year. He's losing one on Sunday.
Okay.
Forced fumble on Jonathan Taylor.
That is bold.
Hey. That's what this is. That's what this is. I'm going to assume that DB is still thinking about what his is going to be. So, Alan, you can go next.
Yeah, I'm still unsure as well. I think the Steelers are going to need to find a way to manufacture some things here on this defense. But Terrell Austin has actually been good in these scenarios where he's got this like remember like the year Eric Rowe comes off the couch and he's playing Miles Jack and Blake Martinez.
Everybody remembers the 2022 Tampa Bay secondary game against Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Like I think they'll I don't know how to make this into a bold prediction. I'm just going to say I don't think they'll be any worse despite their lack of personnel available. I think they'll find a way.
Steelers secondary punches above their weight.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be like I don't think they're going to do well, but I don't think it's going to be this. Actually, maybe that'll be my bold prediction. I'll say despite losing Deshaun Elliott and Jabril Peppers, they will give up fewer passing yards this week than last week.
Okay, but is it because they're giving up more rushing?
Well, of course they're giving up more rushing. 100% they're giving up more rushing. But right. I'll double down there too. I think they'll get not again. This is not that bold, but like I think they'll do better against Warren than they did against Kraft. And I think Warren's a better player.
Is it bold? I mean, so even if I just eliminate the Jonathan Taylor part, a turnover. The Steelers have not gotten one in 14 quarters or something like that now, something like that. And Indy, obviously, best offense. I would assume that they don't turn the ball over much, despite me not knowing that on the surface. Yeah.
No.
So, I mean, I'll stick with the Jonathan Taylor fumble just because I went back specifically to look to see how long he has gone without fumbling. But just curious on that. Okay.
The entire Colts team has only lost 1 fumble this year.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, they've only had 4 turnovers. So.
Okay. Yeah, this all sounds
good. It'll be tough. Yeah. Other things that could potentially be good for the Steelers, the Colts have been really, really bad on third downs. And they've also done some creative stuff. I was watching the
You're
Cardinals.
saying the defense?
Yeah,
Colts
the
defense?
defense has
Okay.
been really bad. They're 30th in the league in third down stops. They also do some like creative stuff in the red zone, which they haven't been like great there either. In terms of like bracketing the other team's best players. So I actually think that I wouldn't surprise me if they did that against DK, considering like what the Steelers have at their disposal. My bold prediction is about a player who has probably been not talked about at all in the Steelers offense since he got back from injury. Calvin Austin, I'm going to say he gets 2 explosive pass receptions over 20 plus yards in this one. Indy doesn't have like a ton of team speed in the secondary or really even at the second level. One thing that I've seen repeatedly on film is that there's been some missed opportunities on is like sail routes out of the slot. So maybe trying to get the Colts in base and then trying to get Calvin up to the second level towards the sideline, which is really where Aaron tries to operate. So I'll say 2 explosive pass plays for Calvin Austin.
How many explosives we get in here? You get what? You said 5 in the run game.
I think the Steelers are going to move the ball. I think the Colts fans seem to think that I was like, which it's kind of funny because I'm not like this anyway. Like I'm not a biased fan, but Colts fans got really upset at me yesterday for saying that their defense is really gettable. I don't think the defense is like well coached and they do some cool stuff. Like I have a lot of respect for Lou who can put together some game plan
from the Steelers too. It's not
there
like
ain't a ton of
they don't have experience beating this defense like a drum. Like
they don't have like I don't think that it's like one of the more talented defenses in the league. I think it's fine. I also think it's fair to acknowledge that it's a lot easier to play defense when your offense gives you a 14, 17 point cushion at the end of the first quarter. So, I mean that, and will they have that on Sunday? Like they absolutely could. I'm just saying, like, I think you can move the ball on them for sure. So, but yeah.
Okay. All right. I guess it's time. It's time to get into our score predictions. What everybody I'm sure is looking forward to hearing how we think this one's going to go. DB, you're yet to go first on anything. If you got your score in mind.
I do. I'm going to say that the Colts win 33-24 on Sunday.
Okay. All right. I'll go next. I also have the Colts. I have the Colts by a score of 34-16.
Oh my gosh.
I thought we were gonna pair up, but that is Smitty's just running them off the field, huh? All right. I also am picking the Colts. I think am I the only one with a 1-score game here? 34-28.
Okay. All right. I mean, that won't make me feel any better about the.
I really wanted to pick them to get 40 because I think they can do it.
I thought about it.
But I'll go 34-28. I think the Steelers can score enough to keep the Colts offense off the field. Steelers don't score fast particularly often. I think they can score enough to keep the Colts offense off the field long enough to make that hard to do. I don't think the defense will make it very hard.
Okay. Yeah, I think none of our predictions make me feel better about what's been going on defensively. Allen makes me feel pretty good about the offense, though. I don't remember, DB, how many did you have him scoring? 24?
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
It's 6 explosive plays.
I guess we got, yeah. I guess so. Maybe we got to see what it looks like. But you're painting an okay picture for me, I guess. Offensively, I'm not. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to come away very encouraged by anything that I see.
I don't think they can stop Jonathan Taylor. I think that, and I think the game kind of ends right there. I think if you say that, you can't
hold that thought because I said I was keeping something towards the end, which I normally don't do. DB kind of ruined it. He might as well have just like came to my house and when I opened the door, punched me in the face and just ruined the moment. But I was going to say
part of trick or treat.
Exactly. I was going to say I wanted to have us lay out if there was. Is there a path to victory here for the Steelers, and what is it, if so?
Don't punt, don't kick field goals, turn the ball, or win the turnover battle.
Plus 2 turnovers to get a big play on special teams.
See, I should have waited a week. I had the big play on special teams last week that didn't come true. I should have waited a week for that prediction.
Plus 2 turnovers and get a big play on special teams. I think they're right there.
Boy, yeah. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say. I don't think. I'm not very encouraged, as you guys can tell.
Yeah, Smitty, that might be the most lopsided prediction in the history of the show, I think.
I think so. It's a combination of everything, right? Like the way the Steelers are playing on defense right now, the way that Jonathan Taylor is running, the way that this offensive line is blocking, Daniel Jones playing at such a high level. And then you include the fact of what Shane Steichen has done against his defense historically, even without those things being the case league-wide. Like, look at the quarterbacks that he's done disgusting things to the Steelers defense with. Things that I think a lot of people get locked up for to the Steelers defense. So it's not trending in a good direction. And it's probably why at the end of the day, I'm going to look like an idiot. Allen will probably be the closest of the predictions. And heck, the Steelers might even end up winning this football game. Who knows? But either way, we will let you guys in the comments feast on that. Give us your predictions, both bold and a final score as well. You guys know the drill, just like these guys know the drill. DB, tell the people they can find you.
Yep, at Steelers_DB on Twitter and YouTube. You can find our written work at SteelersNow.com.
And what was this? Hold on. What was this? Alan was talking up something that you wrote, I believe, just either yesterday or the day before. What was your latest piece about?
Today I wrote something that is up on the site about like basically each team's path towards winning the AFC North, like how things could play out, what needs to be fixed.
Pittsburgh Steelers, Lamar Jackson gets hurt again.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, it could happen. Lamar, Burrow, both. But yeah, so
we're not even in the winter yet.
Definitely check that out.
Lamar's missed as many games as he already did. So
yeah,
we know at some point he just show up with like food poisoning or something.
I'm about to say he's got a terrible immune system.
Yeah. All right, and Alan.
Saunders_PGH on social media. SteelersNow.com is the written work. Sign up for SN Plus. You get all the best stuff from me, DB, the rest of the Steelers Now team. Smitty, we got a new shout out. Ben Arnzen, Arnzen.
So it's ironic.
I'll have you dump that in there when you can. From Idaho. Welcome, Ben. We love.
Wait, how do you spell the last name? How do you spell Ben's last name?
Arnzen, Arnzen. Welcome, Ben. We love to have you. And you can sign up. Go over to SteelersNow.com, click the membership tab on the top right. It's less than $5 a month. Get you all the best content. Steelers Now, SN Plus live stream coming up for subscribers only in the month of November. We'll have to set a date for that. Maybe we'll figure that out right after we're done recording here. And anyone can like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube channels. We continue to grow this show and the rest of our shows to a bigger and bigger audience. We are moving towards a big round number. And right now we have 16,930 subscribers. Obviously, the current occupant is Jalen Warren. The one that's coming up to my mind is Chad Scott from the 1990s.
Same. Dang it. Man. We'll go with JC, James Conner.
Ah, there you go. That's a good one.
Probably my favorite, number 30.
I feel like he gets forgotten about.
Yeah. And DB doesn't like to play this game, so.
I'm trying to think of number 30 that Chad Scott would be the one that I would probably come to. But yeah, shout out to JC. Hopefully he gets healthy again.
Yeah. Frank Pollard was running back in the 1980s. I should have gone with that one. That's more in my wheelhouse. And for some reason, I only remember this guy because he keeps getting nominated for the Hall of Fame, even though there are probably like 10,000 players I would vote for him. Alan Rossum was the kick returner for 1 year, spent most of his career with the Falcons. Every year he gets nominated for the Hall of Fame. I have no idea why. I don't even think guys are remotely close to being a Hall of Famer. But like somebody's really just banging the drum there for Alan Rossum to get in. So that's
that would be Alan Rossum Sr.
Yeah. So he was 30 for his one season in Pittsburgh also.
There we go. That's actually like a really good answer for this game. So there it is. Let us know your favorite number 30 in the comments, as well as, like I said, we need those bold predictions and score predictions as well. And you can let us know how much you hate our predictions as well. And if you're listening somewhere else, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from, We Are There. Just search Steelers Afternoon Drive, leave us a 5-star review, and subscribe. Well, You Are There, and you'll find me everywhere, Zachary Smith, PGH. For Alan Saunders, Derrick Bell, and myself, thanks for jumping in. Take another ride on the Steelers Afternoon Drive.